I'm here at Motor Speedway, and as you can see behind me, the celebration is still going for Lapcevich, who just won the 2017 Pinty's Championship. But we are still looking forward to 2018. This season's over, but next season is still to come. This past week, NASCAR Home Tracks announced that there will be a Pinty's race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway next year in September. I talked to some of the Pinty's drivers to see how they feel about going to the States for the first time. What are your thoughts about the Pinty's series going to New Hampshire next year?
I like that. As long as I have a car to drive, it'd be great. Been there before in late model, it ran really well. When we practiced there, or qualified or whatever they call it, we ran from the back right up to the front. Went back there with a different setup and didn't run very well, but we had a blast.
We're going to find out. I mean, it's a cool facility, obviously. All the big boys race there, and it'll be a good place to showcase our stuff, I think. It's going to be a little bit hectic, I think, crossing the border and all the stuff for the teams, but hopefully we can go there and put on a good show for the fans, because that's what it's all about.
It's different for sure. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great race. I haven't heard if it's a points race or a special or a one-off or what it is, but we'll be there for sure, and I think it'll be great for the series, great exposure for the rest of the guys in the series, and showcase some of the Canadian talent down south, and maybe some guys down south can get a ride. So I think it's good for everybody.
I mean, it's a cool idea, but I think the cost effect of it might be a little more than what some of us can afford. I know we'll try and be there for sure, because I think it'll be cool to get in front of that American-based crowd, being in front of a different group of people than we're normally used to. So it has its flaws, but I think there's a lot of really good things that can come out of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. Like we have some good racing now in our series since Pinty's came on board as a title sponsor. We have Toronto, we have GP3R, we have the 2 mile sport race, we have this race, we have Riverside, and now New Hampshire. So I think like we have marquee events in our series, and having almost a bit more than half of the season onto races like that, it's just gonna increase the level and the credibility, and it's good for everyone.
What do you think the biggest challenges are going to be getting these Canadian teams down to the States?
Whoa, you mean just to do the race, or to want to participate?
Just to want to participate.
Everybody's going to participate. If it's part of the championship, they're not going to stay home. It's going to be another round in our season, and we're going to go there, and it's going to be another track. I think it's going to be a really amazing track to run on for our car, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It's no different. We do a lot of traveling as it is. It's just, the deal at the border. It can go either way. So hopefully NASCAR gives us a hand, get all our paperwork right, and we'll go from there.
The trucks getting through all across the border and, through all the states. It's, from what I know, that, the whole trucking thing is different down there. So that's going to be probably the toughest part, and, probably trying to find sponsorship to get down there too. So, we'll work at it, see what we can do, and, hope we can be down there next year.
For Canadian teams to get down there, it's just like anything. It's just another race out of the series, and it's just sheer dollars and cents at the end of the day. Hotels, fuel, manpower, people getting time off work, just the usual. 13 races, 12 races this year, I can't remember. We're up to 14 next year. It's going to be crazy, and let's see what happens, I guess.
Just definitely the speed and the size of the track, something that we're not typically used to running. Reinforcing windshields, like at CTMP we get going pretty fast, but a 1 mile oval will be going around there pretty good. So I think it's just basically keeping the car all together and figuring out how to make these Pinty cars go around a 1 mile oval.
What do you think the exposure is going to be like going down to the States with all these Canadian sponsors?
I think it could be big for Canadian companies to show their product in the States, and try and expand on it throughout. So, like I said, it has its flaws and it has its pros, but, I think it definitely has a lot of pros that, could be really good for our series.
Yeah, I think, overall, when you race outside of the Canadian market, I think, the Canadian sponsors are not really gonna look at it as a great deal, but it's another race on TV, so it's gonna be a 14th round, and just because of that, it's more exposure, and they're gonna like that.
It's cool. It's a good deal. Most of our sponsors are Canadian though, so hopefully it just gets us a little extra exposure, and it's always good to have exposure for your sponsors. So obviously there'll be a lot of people there and so on. It's something that we can use as a promotional product.
I think it's great for the series. I think that it's going to be able to showcase some of our Canadian talent down there. Not many people know that we have such great racers in Canada, and going down there and racing in front of the American fans is going to showcase what we can do on the track. So I think it's going to be all around really good and get more interest from American drivers to maybe come into our series for grassroots racing before they move up the ladder in the States.
Exposure of any nature is really good, and international is even better. We'll see how far we can take this series. Hopefully we get more cars. You know, the word around the pits right now, everyone wants a car for New Hampshire now, so hopefully we get a lot more oval cars, and it should be a blast.